every once in a while you get people that come in with some hype, that are smooth talkers, that have a huge backing, and that you actually see pan out the way that they say it's going to pan out. Because, I mean, come on, let's be real. Every fighter that hops into the UFC says, hey, I'm going to be world champion, right?
Or I'm going to be the
Um,
next Conor.
or I'm going to be the next Conor. You have Ian Machado Garry coming in against Neil Magny. Ian Machado Garry is a guy I was just talking about, coming in with some hype, smooth talker, has a big backing from Ireland, says, I'm going to be the next Conor McGregor. And, man, so far he's shown out.
Yeah, he was definitely wrong about one thing in the lead up, which was that nobody was going to want to watch the Aljo versus Sean O'Malley fight. Yeah, they were definitely wrong about that one, but he was right about everything else that happened in that fight. It was very impressive to see him dismantle somebody who I held in very high regard. Neil Magny is an absolute dog, especially when he has like the Donald Cerrone mentality of like, no, I'll fight literally anybody.
Yep. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Regen says, I'm so proud of Ian Garry right now. If you're an Ian Garry fan, you should be. You should be, because the performance was amazing. And to your point, Toasty, Neil Magny is no slouch.
At all.
Let's go ahead and read off some of the folks that he's fought. Gilbert
That's a
Burns,
long list.
D-Rod, Shavkat Rachmanov, which is another rising star, Michael Chiesa, Robbie Lawler, Li Jingliang, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Carlos Condit, Rafael Dos Anjos, Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelvin Gastelum. Ever heard of
That's
any
a
of
good
these
one.
names?
Never heard of any of them.
Damian Maya. I mean, come on, dude. He's really fought the who's who in that division. I think they were saying that he has the most wins in the UFC in that division as well, in the welterweight division. So this is a real test for
Yeah.
Ian Garry, and I think he passed the test with flying colors, man.
Yeah,
Absolute flying colors.
As Joe Rogan said, it was his biggest test, and he passed with an A+.
It really
Yeah.
did, man. Gary, the entire time, so light on his feet, man, and he's a big welterweight, but he moves around like a lightweight in there. Fantastic lateral movement, devastating leg kicks. That was, for this fight, that was the story of this fight, no pun intended, where it's just a calf kick after calf kick after calf kick, and you start seeing the pain in Neil Magny's face as he continues landing those over and over again, man.
Yeah. Poker Face went out the door. There was like multiple times where he was like, yeah, almost yeah. Well, I mean, we don't hear it, but like almost yelling as he hits the floor and gets kicked in the leg. Keith Peterson's probably got to jump in there a bit sooner to like tell Neil Magny to stand up instead of letting him butt scoot all the way across the cage. Yeah, those leg kicks were absolutely crazy. I don't know what in the world Neil was not switching stances for. But yeah, that leg was destroyed. He might have compartment syndrome in that leg today.
Dude, and the crazy thing is, you mentioned the fact that he wasn't switching over to a southpaw stance. And usually at this level, for somebody that's been doing it this long, feels pretty comfortable in either southpaw or orthodox. And you would see him switch over to southpaw to take a couple steps back, maybe just to avoid a quick follow-up calf kick. But then he'd switch right back over to orthodox and just scoot his way forward again. And look, I'll give him props for that, man. He still continued trying to put pressure on Ian Garry, even though he was getting his leg chopped off. Ian Garry, great head movement too, man. His defense, I know we're talking about his striking right now. We're talking about his leg kicks, but his defense is also so phenomenal, man. Able to avoid a lot of big shots, catching Neil Magny off balance quite a few times. Just overall fantastic performance. So rating Ian Machado Garry on this one, what would you score him?
I'd probably give him a bit higher on that 9-point scale, but I'd probably still say the same thing. He could have gotten him out in that last round. Neil is very, very, very smart in terms of like staying alive, so that it's very hard for him.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd probably give him like a 9.7, 9.6, something like that. You definitely could have gotten him out of there, but I give him a little bit more than Whaley, where like I feel like Whaley kind of sat back a couple of rounds where she was like, okay, I'm good, and then sort of went back into her game plan. Whereas Ian was on the pedal the whole time. There was quite a few times where he was like putting a lot of pressure on him, but Neil is very hard to get out of there.
I really thought he could have finished Magny in the second round by leg kicks.
Yeah,
But I think he also chose not to because there was some beef there, and he said, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm going to punish you," and I think he punished him as much as he could, and he did try to take him out. I feel like the last 30 seconds to be able to say like, "Hey, I was toying with this guy the first couple rounds. I put him out when I wanted to. Just didn't work out that way. If he would have put him out, man, in those last 30 seconds, it would have been amazing."
yeah. I also
Absolutely.
think that it was very smart of him to instantaneously call out a striker instead of letting the UFC try to give him any other sort of grappler person. Now, his grappling is getting a lot better, but I mean, that is the one realm that you would want to put him in because I would not want to stand with anybody at the caliber of Ian Garry. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he just continues showing that he's getting better with every single fight, man. Um, and for him, he called out, like you said, Wonder Boy, Stephen Wonder Boy
Hmm.
Thompson, which it's another really good fight. It'd be a
Yeah,
really good
it's
fight for
exciting.
him. Yeah, I think Neil Magny was ranked 11th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Uh, so it moves Ian Garry up a little bit,
it
but Stephen
should
Wonderboy
move.
Thompson is ranked 7th. So that would give him a jump even over Jeff Hands of Steel Neal, who he was supposed to have originally fought last night. And it's a great call out, man. Why not? 40-year-old fighter. And granted, he still looks good. Wonderboy still looks good. But it's a 40-year-old fighter still against a young buck. Another striker. You don't have to worry about all that grappling, like you said. Perfect call out.
Yeah. I think if we had gotten that Jeff Neal fight, it probably would have been a lot based off of what we saw against Neal. It would have been a lot of the same thing, just with like the overhanging thought of like, oh well, Jeff could hit him with one punch and put him out. But I think we're going to end up getting the same result if those two ever end up fighting.
I think so too, man. I think so too. And I still like the Wonderboy Thompson fight more than I like the Jeff Neal fight for Ian though.
For Ian, yeah, yeah.
For
If I was Ian's manager, I would want that fight more than I would want the Jeff Neal fight.
So you give him a 9.6 after the call out. Do you bump him up to a 9.7?
No, it's smart for him, but like as a fan, I don't want to. I don't want to see that. I want to see him fight somebody who doesn't have the skill set of every other fighter he's fought.
So he probably won't fight Gilbert Burns. We saw Gilbert Burns in his corner. I think that Ian is now training partly out of Killcliff as well. But he did say that after this fight, he was going to purchase a house in Brazil,
Yeah, I mean he's basically coming a Brazilian.
right? His wife's Brazilian.
Yep, that's why he took the change name so that his kids can be both, part of both cultures type stuff.
That's awesome. I thought it was just because his wife is absolutely gorgeous, and he was like, "Yes, whatever you'd like for me to do, I will do."
I'm
But
sure that
hey,
has a lot to do with it.
but props to Ian Machado Garry. Fantastic performance. Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.